Sorry, I forgot to record. So that is the idea where we, as we go through reading verse after verse, chapter after chapter, we can develop this discrimination and begin to develop a bit of a clarity that what I thought myself to be with reference to my Sharir Mana Buddhi. So my idea of my personality to be this body, idea is to begin to shift away from this delusionary version or delusion, so to speak, and begin to pay attention towards my real personality, which is Atma. So this Atma, which is called Jivatma, why we call Jivatma? Because it is a same Atma, which is Brahm itself. When it enters the body and becomes conditioned by the body, that conditioned Atma is referred to as Jiva. So that is the idea in this verse. So I'm going to read through, and if there's anything worth explaining, I will stop and explain it. So this is one of the oft-quoted famous stanza in Gita, which by a very striking example explains to us how the egocentric entity in an individual readily leaves its association with one set of equipments and arrogates to itself another conducive environment for living a new set of its required experiences. The example that Vyas uses is so universal that from Lord's own mouth it rings with a note of irresistible appeal. Just as an individual changes his clothes to suit the convenience of the occasion, so too the ego center discards one physical form and takes on another, which will be most suited for it to gain the required type of experiences. No one will plan to go to his office wearing his nightgown, nor will he, in his stiff collar, feel happy while playing tennis in the evening. He changes his dress according to the field where he is intended to work for the time being. Similarly, the why and wherefore of death and thereafter. So this striking example, which comes within the comprehension of everyone, is made use of by the Lord so that not only Arjun, but even those who are overhearing these 18 discourses, means these 18 chapters of Gita, even at this distant time, may come to understand the idea clearly. Okay. So changing our clothes that have become worn out cannot be a pain to any one of us, especially when it is for the purpose of putting on a new set of clothes. Similarly, when a mind intellect equipment finds that its embodiment in a given form can no longer help it to earn from its available environment, experiences that environment experiences that would facilitate its evolutionary pilgrimage. It feels that this particular form is worn out, jirna. This worn out condition of a body is to be decided neither by its age nor by its biological condition, nor can any other than its wearer, the ego, decides it. Okay, so it is only, अब जैसे हम लोग लास्ट टाइम ये सवाल उठा था, somebody asked this question कि what why somebody who is just born for 2 3 years old and those babies die, so what is the explanations to it? So it is the ego who decides, whatever may be the reason, whatever may be the cause. It is the ego, it is the atma within the body. It is that atma decides whether he wants to continue in a particular body or not, right? So critics rise up in hosts, however, against the truth of this stanza, and their main platform of argument is built upon the observed facts of young people dying away in the bloom of their life. See, here's the answer that Bhavna asked last time, is asking this specifically that query. In the observer's opinion, the individual was young and his body was not worn out. Jeevna. But from the standpoint of the evolutionary necessity of the ego concerned, that body was already useless for it. A rich man, for example, feels like changing his house or a vehicle almost every year, and he invariably finds ready purchasers. As for the rich owner is concerned, the thing has become useless for him, while for the purchaser it is as good as new. Similarly, here, nobody else can decide whether a given body is worn out or not except the wearer. In short, the stanza emphasizes the doctrine of reincarnation, which we have already explained in an earlier stanza. On the whole, it must have definitely conveyed to Arjuna the idea that death grins only at those who have no understanding, and that it has no pain for those who understands its implication and working. Just as changing of dress is no pain to the body, so too when the dweller in the body leaves the embodiment, there is no pain possible. Again, undressing does not mean that thereafter we will ever live naked. So too, the embodied self before long discovers an appropriate equipment from which to function and to earn for itself a new set of experiences. Evolution and change are all for the mind and intellect, and not for the self. The self is perfect and changeless and needs no evaluation or evolution. Sorry. Have you guys understood this? If not, please share whatever you have understood. Because I think there's no point moving forward if you don't understand this fundamental philosophical idea. Okay, so that we can understand what does the word death, birth and death mean in this context. In day-to-day materialistic life, birth is a birth of a child. Death is death of a body. Okay, so this is what is understood in conventional understanding. But in here, it is not necessarily the death of a body. Okay. Think about it. It's like if you are working in an office, is in an organization, and having worked in this organization, you do not find a sense of satisfaction for whatever reasons. There may be a lot of reasons. It may be you're not getting paid, or you may be not getting along with people in your team, or the environment is not good, or maybe you're not getting any opportunity for growth and development, or you are not getting opportunity to get promotions in this company. So you feel frustrated and you no longer enjoy working in this organization. So what do? We find for ourselves another organization where we think at this point in time that this new organization or this new office is going to give me that happiness or satisfaction that I'm looking for. So you move one job to the other job just like that, isn't it? Why? Because your desires are not being fulfilled in this job. So you look for new field or new jobs or new organization where you think at this point in time that your desires will be fulfilled. So if you are living in a house and this house has become very old, requires a lot of doing up, not only just paint and something cosmetic work, but there's a lot of structural damage to the house. So rather than spending a whole lot of money to repair this house, you decide to change the house and find yourself a new house, and you go and shift and you move. So why are you doing it? Because you're no longer enjoying your life living in this house. You're dissatisfied. You're fed up with every day some problem or the other creeping up, and you're wasting a lot of your time trying to mend it. Sometimes there's a leak, sometimes there's a plaster is gone off. Sometimes the pipes, water pipes have broken and busted. Sometimes there's a high surge into electricity, and your equipment are damaged. And all these things are happening all the time. So then you say, well, there's no point kind of getting all these things, refurbished in this house. No matter how much time, effort, and money you can spend in this house will never be to a standard where you can enjoy living. So then you said, okay, if I have to spend all that effort, money, and time in redoing, you might as well spend that effort, money, and time into finding something bigger, better, and fresher and newer house. So you go and buy yourself. So just try to think in any of these things, including this example in the Gita for this verse, that when we are no longer happy for whatever reason with a set of clothes, all you do is you discard these clothes and you just go and buy yourself a new set of clothes. Or if you have a new set of clothes, you go and wear that set of clothes. In any of these three situations, just try to reflect and think, do you become depressed or sad, or do you complain about this transition? We don't. Why? Because I know the previous condition, the current condition is become pathetic and painful. And only solution is for me to live a comfortable life is to go through this change and shift. In the same way, it says the indweller meaning the one who is living in the body, that Atma, for whatever reason, it comes to a conclusion that this current embodiment is no more serving its purpose. It chooses to leave. And it's not only just, physically going from one body to other, but even within the body, it may not like the current state of affairs. Then it chooses to do something. So this body is become unhealthy, weak, and lazy. So you then, take a decision to alter this state for yourself. So you start doing yoga, you start taking some herbal medication, you start becoming active, you take up some project and you do a lot of things, all those things that you enjoy. And you bring your body back to its state of health, where you start to, enjoy your life experience on a daily basis. So it's not only that this verse is trying to say that Atma leaves one body and goes to the other. Even within the given body, you make efforts to alter and change it, isn't it? Don't we do it all the time? So we always look for a better stage, even in our material life. If we don't like a particular station in our life, we work towards going to a better position in life. If we do that all the time in our material life, on a day-to-day basis, if you're not comfortable sitting where you're sitting, you find somewhere which could be comfortable, or you find a cushion to put the, to support your back, or whichever way. So this is a kind of a natural progression. So Lord Krishna in this verse, using this example, is trying to help Arjun to differentiate and develop that discrimination or distinction between his assumed personality and his real personality. So his assumed personality is a personality where he believes that he is the Sharir Man Buddhi. So Lord is trying to divert his attention away from his delusion and pointing at his attention towards his real nature. So in last two verses, this is what he's trying to do. Now he is using another verse to give another kind of feature of this Atma. So it says, and the argument started from where? Where Arjuna started to talk about killing and being killed. So from that perspective, it says, Nainam chindanti shatran, Nainam dahati pavakaha, na chainam kledyan tapyo tyapo, na shoshati maruta. This is why this is the self. Why is the self changeless? The Lord says, weapon cleave it not, fire burns it not, water moistens it not, wind dries it not. So basically, the entire physical world has no capacity to inflict any change onto self, the Atma. Atma does not get affected by any of these things. तो जी सर, हम तो सुबह से लेकर शाम तक दसियों बार परेशान हो जाते हैं, बारिश आए तो परेशान हो जाते हैं, धूप निकल जाए तो परेशान, तो आप कह रहे हो इससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता? नहीं नहीं, वो फर्क आपके शरीर को पड़ता है. Those effects are not for the Atma. Those effects are borne by or experienced by Sharir Man Buddhi. It does not affect the self. It does not affect Atma. So he says the unseen is always explained in terms of the seen, and thereby the unknown becomes fully indicated rather than defined. For any unknown thing merely defined in itself remains as unknown as before. Similarly, here, changeless, immutable self is being described by Lord Krishna in terms of the mutable and ever changing world, which is very familiar to Arjun and all the people like us in the world of change. Okay, so now this is a very beautiful concept which is coming up. He says, all these changes that we are talking about, these changes belong to the body. These changes don't belong to Atma. And the reason we are able to experience those changes, because there is something changeless in the presence of which these changes are taking place. इस बात को बड़े ध्यान से सुनिए, थोड़ा सा कंफ्यूजिंग बात हो जाती है. आप किसी चेंज को, यू कैन ओनली एक्सपीरियंस इन चेंज when you yourself are in a changeless position, a stationary position. When you are stationary, only you can experience the change. But when you are part of the change, you cannot experience the change. जैसे आप किसी कार में, मोटरवे में जा रहे हैं, then you are part of that change, so you don't experience the change. You are part of it. But when you step out of that car, that's when you realize how fast the car is going. But while you are in the car, you cannot experience it. So change can be experienced against changeless. आपने नोटिस किया होगा, when you are sitting in a train and it's going in one direction, and when you have another train which goes in the same direction, you don't feel the change. महसूस ही नहीं होता कि ट्रेन चल रही है. लेकिन when your train is in one direction and the other train comes from the opposite direction, especially when you are stationary, then you see how fast the train is moving. So what the mute point here is, all these changes that the Sharir Man Buddhi is experiencing, it is experiencing because all these things are existing in Atma. Because of Atma, Sharir Man Buddhi gets the potency to function and experience. Without Atma, Sharir Man Buddhi cannot experience any of the changes. भाई अगर शरीर में आत्मा ही ना हो तो जो मृत शरीर है, can that sharir be affected by the physical changes that are taking place? Can the eye see? Can the ears hear? Can the nose smell? Can the tongue taste? Can the skin feel? So ये जो सारे potencies हैं in all these equipments, जिसको हम शरीर मन बुद्धि कहते हैं, these शरीर मन बुद्धि functions only when Atma is pulsating through them. So इसका मतलब हुआ these changes are experienced by us because of Atma. In the presence of Atma, we experience these changes. In the presence. Atma is not taking part in changes. But because of Atma, we are able to consciously become aware of those changes. So the consciousness of the change comes to me because of Atma. But Atma is not playing any role or part in the change itself. Change is happening and I become conscious of the change because Atma is present in me. So that is what is being hinted at. So we need to understand no change can take place unless there is something changeless. उसके लिए एक और बड़ा अच्छा एग्जाम्पल दिया जाता है कि यू आर एबल टू सी द मूवी ऑन द स्क्रीन not because projector is projecting it. You are able to see what is happening in the movie because those changes are projected upon a stratum, a backdrop or background. If there is no screen and not even a wall, would you be able to see the movie? You wouldn't, because the beams will shoot out in the skies and you wouldn't be able to make any sense. You are able to experience all those changes that is taking place in the movie because of the substratum at the background. If this background is not there, you would have no ability to comprehend the movie. I was on. So it's called the substratum. So Atma or Brahm is the substratum upon which the entire universe, including us, is functioning. So Atma or Brahm is the Adhar, substratum. Because of the presence of Brahm, everything and every being on this planet and all the other planets in all the galaxies that are known to humans and those who are not known to humans are all functioning because of Brahman. आई बात समझ में? So it says here, in the world of change, objects come to their annihilation neither through instruments of death, either through instruments of death, are consumed by fire, destroyed by water, or dried up by air. All जितनी भी संसार में चीजें हैं, okay, they all come to their annihilation either through the instruments of death, which is like weapons, or are consumed by fire. Either fire consumes it, and destroyed by water or dried up by air. These are the various cosmic means and methods by which the objects of the world come to their destruction. All these means are declared as impotent in bringing about destruction of the self. None of these things can ever bring destruction to the self. All these four broad means, either the weapon, the fire, water, or air, are the causes of the destruction of the entire material world. But all these are impotent so far as the destruction of the self is concerned. So, first means of destruction, the weapons, is a weapon, cleave it not. With any sharp object like a knife or a sword, you cannot cleave it, you cannot chop it. It cannot be chopped by the weapon. It is very well known that with an axe, one can cut down a thing, and with a bullet, one can shoot some other object, but one cannot wound water, fire, air, or space with a sword. Okay. However sharp it might be, the principle is that no instrument can hit or destroy an element subtler than itself. That is the principle that we need to understand. One cannot wound water, fire, air, or space with a sword, however sharp it might be. The principle is that no instrument can hit or destroy an element subtler than itself. Right? Naturally, therefore, Atman, the self, the very cause of the subtlest space, element is space, and necessarily, therefore, subtler than space, cannot be cut asunder by the gross elements. So basically, the gross elements cannot uh, affect a subtler element. The gross, स्थूल स्थूल वस्तु सूक्ष्म वस्तु को मतलब डिस्ट्रॉय नहीं कर सकता. The second example here is fire cannot burn it. The fire can generally burn things other than the fire, but it cannot burn itself. Right? The burning capacity of fire is the very essence, the truth within it, and therefore fire cannot burn its own essence vis-a-vis its fiery nature. Whenever there is fire, it can consume things only in space, and yet space is never consumed by fire. कंफ्यूजन नहीं हो रहा आप लोगों को? मुझे तो बड़ा होता है ऐसी बातें सुन के. So things are consumed by fire in space. If space itself cannot be consumed by fire, how important it must feel when it tries to consume the cause of space, that is the self. So self is the cause of space. So space came out of Brahma. The time came out of space. Sorry, came out of Brahma. So is time. Time and space are the product of Brahma. So when they come out of, so none of these two can make any effect on the self itself. Water cannot moisten it. The things get soaked only when they have got inner space within themselves. ये बात आपको समझ में है? इस बात का क्या मतलब? When something is porous, only then water can get into that porous spaces. But if you put a metal sheet in water, it can't wet it. Wet it means it cannot be soaked by steel. So steel cannot be, that. So it must be porous. A piece of bread can be soaked in water or milk, but a piece of iron cannot be soaked. You can dip into it, but piece of iron cannot suck cannot suck liquid into it. Only a bread,
Molecules are
which is
densely packed.
because it is densely packed. As iron has no inner space within, when the substance is one homogeneous mass. So can you see? He is Gurudev is amazing, man. तो पहली उन्होंने क्वालिफिकेशन थी, समथिंग कैन नॉट डिस्ट्रॉय इट्स ओन सटलर वर्जन. ध्यान से सुनिए इस बात को. समथिंग कैन नॉट डिस्ट्रॉय इट्स ओन सटलर नेचर. जैसे फायर जो है सब चीजों को कर देती है, लेकिन फायर का जो सटल फॉर्म है वो क्या है? इट्स फायरीनेस. नॉट द फायर, इज द फायरीनेस इन फायर. So fieriness is not destroyed by fire. I was now the second dimension is presented of Brahma. It says, when the substance is one homogeneous mass containing nothing other than itself, to condition it, water cannot enter the substance and therefore cannot soak it. अब जैसे आयन का एग्जांपल दिया ना, आयन contains nothing in it except itself. So I know where it is leading to. So when we say Brahm is my purest version, तो ये जो homogeneous mass है, homogeneous mass का pure, it is the purest version. So Brahm is the purest version. Why? Because it has nothing in it except itself. So why we find it difficult? Because we have created a version which has anything in it except itself. हमको जो हम अपने आप को समझते हैं, this is full of my vasanas and misinterpretation of my experiences. The perceptions that I form out of my life experiences, so that mental conclusion is that which defines my personality. So this is illusion. This illusionary version of me is my identity. So what I think I am is the illusion, the impurity. It is the mental construction of my mind. My mind has created this idea that I am weak or I am intelligent. I am this, I am that. All these what we believe ourselves to be from the day we were born till today. All the ideas that I have created about myself, and I believe myself to be that personality. That is nothing but vasana. It is the illusion. Illusion उसको क्यों बोलते हैं? है कुछ, समझा आपने कुछ. Illusion क्या होता है? What is illusion? Illusion is where reality is missing. Your perception of a thing, and you draw a conclusion which is far removed from the reality of that object. तो कहते हैं ना illusion हो गया मुझको, मुझे लगा. आम भाषा में भी तो कहते हैं ना, अरे मुझे लगा. तो जब जो चीज लगती है उसको इल्यूजन बोलते हैं. दैट इज इम्प्योर वर्जन और इम्प्योर इंटरप्रिटेशन ऑफ माई रियलिटी. व्हाट इज माई रियलिटी? माई रियलिटी इज आई एम प्योर ब्रह्म. दैट इज माई रियलिटी. लेकिन मैंने अपने आप को क्या बना लिया? आई हैव क्रिएटेड ए assumed version, a version which is based on misinterpretation of my experiences. उसके आधार पे मैंने अपनी धारणा बना लिया. आई हैव क्रिएटेड ए वर्जन अबाउट माई सेल्फ एंड आई बिलीव दैट पर्सनैलिटी टू बी माई सेल्फ. दिस इज मी. That is the declaration we do all the time, isn't it? दिस इज हाउ आई एम, टेक इट और लीव इट. कहते नहीं, we take so much pride in it. I am so and so. So we live our entire life based on this ignorance. This is called ignorance. और ये जो इग्नोरेंस होती है वो क्यों होती है? इग्नोरेंस होती है ब्रह्म की दैट शक्ति which hides reality from me and makes me believe unreal to be real. ये जो शक्ति होती है उसको क्या बोलते हैं? उसको बोलते हैं माया. माया मतलब इल्यूजन. क्योंकि ये जो मैं समझ रहा हूं ये मेरे माइंड की इंटरप्रिटेशन है ना. सो इट
Yeah.
इज माय सेंसेस, माइंड एंड
We live in
इंटेलेक्ट.
the sense world. Yeah.
हाँ. सो
जो
शरीर
छू
मन
सकते हैं, देख सकते हैं.
हाँ, इन चीजों का जो इंटरप्ले है, आंखों ने कुछ ऑब्जेक्ट कैप्चर किया, मन ने उसको प्रोसेस किया अंदर भेजा इंटेलेक्ट के पास. इंटेलेक्ट बेस्ड ऑन माय पास्ट एक्सपीरियंसेस एंड पास्ट मेमोरीज have drawn an interpretation of this new information. कि वो अच्छी है, बुरी है, पेनफुल है, प्लेजरेबल है. So all these conclusions are drawn not based on what that thing is, but based on my past experiences. मेरी पुरानी मेमोरीज क्या है? मेरी पुरानी मेमोरी है whenever I touch fire I get burned and I suffer. So this is the past memory. So whenever I come in close proximity to fire, my mind tells me to be careful, isn't it? So these personality that we have created for ourselves, it is defined as a Maya, Maya, product of illusion. So this is the illusory version of myself, which is unreal. It is not real at all. It is unreal. Why it is unreal? Because it is changing all the time. कल तक मुझको लगता था आई एम नॉट इंटेलिजेंट. टुडे आई थिंक आई एम इंटेलिजेंट. So my idea about myself has changed. So my intellect cannot be real. Until yesterday, I used to feel, so happy with something. Now my, emotions about that particular thing is changed. Now I hate it. So my mind is changing all the time. My body has been changing from the day I was born, is going through the growth process. So all these things, Sharir, Man, Buddhi, are not real. It is changing all the time. And my real personality is changeless. I am the changeless, immutable, eternal, ever existing, indestructible. So if that is my real nature, how could Sharir, Man, Buddhi be my personality? So this distinction is being created for us to think about and contemplate over it. So anything which is temporary, fleeting, destructible, was born, hence it must die, changing all the time, modifying itself with time and modifying in space and changing with time. Any of those things cannot be real. Anything which is not real, it's not me. Why? Because I am the real. I am the Brahman. Am Brahma Asmi. सो इंटेलेक्चुअल लेवल, पहला काम होता है कि इंटेलेक्चुअल लेवल पे इस बात की क्लैरिटी हो हमारे मन के अंदर. इंटेलेक्चुअल लेवल. और जब एक बार इंटेलेक्चुअल लेवल पे आपको ये बात समझ में आती है कि हाँ बात तो ठीक कह रहे हैं, देन यू स्टार्ट कॉन्टेम्पलेटिंग ऑन दैट रियल नेचर यूजिंग योर मेडिटेटिव स्किल. एंड इफ यू कीप.
सर.
जी बोलिए.
सॉरी सर. सर आप जो कह रहे हो ना कि इंटेलेक्चुअली एक बार ही समझ आ जाए, तो जब आपसे बात करते हैं, आप समझाते हो, तो तब समझ आ जाती है। जब बाद में मैं सोचती हूँ तो मुझे लगता है नहीं, ये तो कोई फिक्शन है, दिस कैन नॉट बी द रियल थिंग।
That's good.
तो हाउ डू यू गेट ओवर दैट?
No, you don't have to go over it. Just, contemplate over it. Why it is fiction, what you think, what is that. The idea is to just keep thinking about it. और ये सब चीजें तो होती रहती हैं क्योंकि we are so much tied up with our material dimension of personality. We have so much of memory that we have gathered, and it is, I would say, difficult. I won't say it's challenging, but it is slightly, you're trying to shift. It's almost like your subconscious mind is telling you that this new knowledge that you have is trying to destroy your personality that existed forever.
हम्म।
है ना? तो हमको बहुत सारा पास्ट की हैबिट्स, पास्ट की मेमोरीज, दे आर काइंड ऑफ हाउंडिंग अस all the time and trying to disbalance us. So idea is to keep contemplating over new idea, new thought, new perspective that is brought into my awareness, and we contemplate over it. And if you keep investigating into your past habits, past experiences, and you dissect them, you'll find that they were all perceptions. They were not real. They were unreal. I didn't even know I was fooling myself by believing in all those sort of things, that I am weak, I am not capable, I am not intelligent. All these are illusions. I am perfect. I am the most intelligent. But I've never thought like that about myself. And I have got hundreds of validating experiences which tell me that I'm not intelligent. So how do I undo all that just like that because I want to? So it takes time. Chiram nityam nirantaram. Keep contemplating over. Don't worry about it. That will, past will, memories, experiences will keep pulling you and try to dissuade you. But you have to be firm in your resolve. And if you have the more as you develop and gain conviction into this new knowledge, and you stand firm on your resolve, these things will keep banging, and sooner or later they will stop banging because they will, ये तो सुनती नहीं हमारी बात. हम कह रहे हैं नलायक है, मान ही नहीं, ये तो मान के बैठी तो कह रही है मैं तो इंटेलिजेंट हूँ. तो इंटेलिजेंट हूँ इस बात को मानते 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 योर माइंड विल स्टार्ट टू ब्रिंग न्यू एक्सपीरियंसेस टू कन्विंस यू दैट यू आर इंटेलिजेंट. It will convince you that you are ever intelligent. Your intelligence was never inferior. Is that you believed, that you are not intelligent. So mind has to bring and prove you right. तो जैसे हमने इतने साल लगा दिए, 30 40 50 60 60 साल, जो भी हमारी एज है, टू कन्विंस माई सेल्फ दैट आई एम नॉट इंटेलिजेंट, गिव इट एटलीस्ट 6 months, if not 60 years, and keep chanting in your mind that I am intelligent. There is nothing I cannot do. So if you do use these auto suggestions, जिसको कि religious language में बोलते हैं प्रार्थना, अगर हम ये प्रार्थना करते हैं, सिंसियरली करते हैं, and we keep telling us that I am the most intelligent or I am intelligent, there is nothing I cannot do. And if you keep serving this thought process and keep saying to yourself repeatedly over a period of time, this thought will become reality. And you will realize that yes, you are intelligent. There is nothing you cannot do. So all these millions of thoughts and ideas and memories that you have gathered over your life period, which suggested that you're not intelligent, they will crumble and disappear. होगा, उसको होने दीजिए. जी प्रीति.
तो मैंने ये भी देखा है कि जो लोग बहुत फिक्शन की दुनिया में रहते हैं, फिक्शन पढ़ना एंड देखना, वो बहुत ज्यादा फिक्शन की तरफ ही रहते हैं. मतलब लाइक रियलिटी से थोड़ा सा, आफ्टर ऑल दिन में उतना ही टाइम है और उतने ही घंटे हैं और उतना ही माइंड में आप इंफॉर्मेशन ले सकते हो। अगर हम सारा टाइम फिक्शन में रहेंगे तो आई डोंट थिंक इट बिकम्स डिफिकल्ट टू एक्सेप्ट रियलिटी।
एज अ थॉट, वो आपने मैंने वो ये तीन वो हैं फ्रेजेस हैं. इट सेज कि वॉट एवर यू थिंक यू क्रिएट, वॉट एवर यू फील यू अट्रैक्ट. ये तीसरा एक और भी है कि कहने का मतलब ये है, यू आर एज योर थॉट्स. जो भी थॉट्स आप अपने मन में एंटरटेन करोगे, नेगेटिव और पॉजिटिव, इररिस्पेक्टिव ऑफ इट, इफ यू keep thinking, oh, I'm not capable, I'm not good, I can't do it, blah, 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 this is a man's thing, this is a whenever, if you hold these thoughts in your mind, whatever they are, mind will convince you that you are right. तो जो भी हम अपने बारे में सोचते हैं, या जो भी कंक्लूजन नतीजों पे हम लोग पहुंच गए हैं ये पिछले 20, 30, 40, 50 साल की उम्र में, दिस इज नथिंग बट ए इल्यूजन that your mind has convinced you about, that it is real. Yes, you're not intelligent. And when somebody, why do you say so? Then you can give me 10, 20,000, experiences from your past. See, this happened, I couldn't even do this, I couldn't even do this, I couldn't even do this. So you have all these supporting arguments to convince that you are not intelligent. But problem ये नहीं है कि आपके पास 20,000 experiences आपके पास हैं. There are equal or more experiences of your intelligence that you have not paid attention to. Why? Because mind के पास वो जॉब था ही नहीं कि वो पॉजिटिव मेमोरीज को कैप्चर करके रखता. So mind did not create conscious memory of those positive experiences which could have convinced you that you are intelligent. तो उसको हमने इग्नोर कर दिया, उसको हमने नॉर्मलाइज कर दिया. और जो नेगेटिव एक्सपीरियंसेस हैं वो हमारे कॉन्शियस मेमोरी में रहते हैं. एंड इट कीप्स कंफर्मिंग that I am not intelligent. Why? Because this is the thought I am holding in my mind all the time. So mind has to keep proving it. तो जो आगे इसमें भी फिर बताएंगे, गीता में भी उसका वो आएगा वर्णन, डिस्कशन होगा उसके ऊपर. सो दिस प्रोसेस इज कॉल्ड चित्त शुद्धि साधना. चित्त मीनिंग कंडीशनड सेल्फ, मेमोरी, शुद्धि. सो क्लिनजिंग my memories, cleansing my mind of the vasanas and vrittis. Vritti matlab thought. Vasana means my belief system. तो इनको, जो भी ये नकारात्मक और पॉजिटिव मेरे पास्ट की वासनाएं हैं, उनका नाश करना, उनको समाप्त करना इज द बिगेस्ट साधना इन हिंदू रिलीजन. दैट इज द बिगेस्ट, उससे बड़ी कोई साधना नहीं. ये जो हम हवन करते हैं, दैट इज ऑल्सो ए सिंबॉलिक representation of what we have to do so far as the चित्त शुद्धि is concerned. तो जो भी हमारी पांचों इंद्रियों के द्वारा किए जाने वाले कार्य हैं, that has to be offered to life. These are performed by life, not by me. मेरा कोई रोल नहीं है. Whatever eyes are doing, it is happening because of Atma, because of life principle. So you are surrendering your ego. Ego means sense of urgency, that I see. I see. So when you say I see, this is the ego. You can't see. The eyes, mind and intellect together conclude and create an idea of what is being seen, and this capacity to able to see things is lended to I by who? By Brahma. So eyes, whatever eyes do, whatever my senses are doing, they are able to do it because of ब्रह्म. तो सारा काम तो ब्रह्म के द्वारा हो रहा है भाई. तो जब ब्रह्म के द्वारा काम हो रहा है तो why am I taking credit for? I can't do anything. I means this deluded version that I have. So that believes that whatever is happening in and through my sharir mana buddhi is done by me. इसको बोलते हैं अज्ञान, डिल्यूजन. आई बात समझ? सिंपल है, कॉम्प्लिकेटेड कुछ नहीं इसमें. तो ये जो सेग्रीगेशन है, जैसे जैसे सेग्रीगेशन होना शुरू हो जाएगा एंड यू स्टार्ट कॉन्टेम्पलेटिंग and slowly, gradually develop your faith and belief system in your real version, your deluded version will disappear. और उस अवस्था को बोलते हैं सेल्फ रियलाइजेशन. You have realized. And when you come to this realization that all the pain and suffering that was inflicted upon you by the external world ceases its potency to inflict any pain. Your body may go through pain, but you don't suffer the pain. Why? Because you know it is not the injury is to the body, not to me. I cannot be affected. I cannot be changed. I cannot be altered. I cannot be cut. I cannot be hurt. So if I cannot be hurt, what am I suffering? My body has received a cut. I must go and get it treated and repair it. That's about it. Why cry? Why are you crying about it? That is the idea. It is simpler said than done when we first listen to it. But let me tell you, it is absolutely truth. Real. You have to live that experience. मैंने एक्सपेरिमेंट किया था, मैं आपको भी शेयर करता हूँ. तो इफ यू वांट टू डू a similar or experience, then I was kind of trying to understand this concept. Is it really true? So see, what we need to understand, when you say I have experienced, when we say I have experienced something, whatever that experience. So do you understand the composition of experience? How experience is created? How our internal system creates an experience form? नहीं? एक्सपीरियंस में देखिए तीन चीजें होती हैं. एक होता है एक्सपीरियंसर, द वन हु इज एक्सपीरियंसिंग. एक होता है ऑब्जेक्ट विच इज एक्सपीरियंस्ड, है ना? And when these two things come together, experience is born. There is a gulab jamun, ठीक है? And there is you. While both of these things are present, but there is no experience. Only when you put that gulab jamun in your mouth, only then you know it is sweet. तो एक्सपीरियंस के लिए तीन चीजें चाहिए. एक्सपीरियंसर and the experienced. And when these two things come together, experience is created. अब जैसे बड़ी साधारण से हमारी डे टू डे लाइफ में क्या होता है कि जैसे मान लीजिए आपने या किसी ने, नॉट यू पर्सनली, you received an email and you were rushing out to the office. आपने कहा अरे there is an email dropped in my inbox. I'm getting late, I will sort it out later. No experience. Email is there, you are there. But these two things haven't come together. But when you come back from the work and say, oh, let me check. So you open the email and read, experience is created. If the email contains a sad news, you will be sad. If it contains a good news, you will be happy. Isn't it? तो ये आपको चीज समझ में आ गई, तीन चीजें, एक्सपीरियंसर, एक्सपीरियंस्ड एंड द एक्सपीरियंस। ठीक है। अब जब ये हम दो बातें करते हैं तो उसका वास्तव में मीनिंग क्या होता है? वास्तव में उसका ये मीनिंग होता है कि by only by sense organs capturing the external world of objects cannot create an experience. Only when your mind attends to that stimuli, या जो भी इंफॉर्मेशन हमारी सेंसेस लेके आती हैं, you cannot create a memory or you cannot have an experience. So इंद्रियों का और मन का एक साथ होना अनिवार्य है। ठीक है ना? तो मैंने फिर क्या एक्सपेरिमेंट किया, मैं कहा इफ दिस इज ट्रू, विच इज ट्रू, इट्स नॉट दैट आई जस्ट वांटेड टू एक्सपीरियंस इट, आई विल नॉट क्वेश्चनिंग इट, आई विल सिंपली से ओके, I like the idea, I think what they're making sense, so let us experience whether it really works. So I think it was during Corona year 2020, I was on my own in my flat in India, and I lived in that flat for 21 months on my own. So I started to go for morning walk, half 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, and I used to walk 5 miles. So then I thought, when you walk or when you do any exercise, your energy level is high when you start an activity, and when you go through the activity, whatever that activity is, your body start to get exhausted, tired, and you experience aches and pains. And these experience of aches and pains that eventually affect your resolve to undertake the activity, and then you eventually stop that activity, isn't it? So I said, okay, let's experiment in that. So what I did was I said, okay, I will try not to keep my mind on my body. So if I don't keep my mind on my body, I will not register any changes that are taking place in my body. And if I'm not experiencing any changes in my body, it will not affect my resolve. So I used to walk 5 miles every morning. It used to take me about hour and a quarter, something like that. So I will put my headphones and I will listen to Gita. And when I'm listening to Gita, I will draw and all my attention to these verses and trying to analyze them, try to understand it, and work very, very attentively through these verses. And I'm walking. So I used to start like 3.7, 3.8 miles per hour. And I will first experiment what I will continue my speed all 5 miles without getting it affected. उसके बाद जब मुझको सफलता प्राप्त हुई, मैंने कहा नाउ लेट्स टेस्ट इट अगेन, सो लेट अस increase the curve. You start on your speed, average speed, and towards the end increase it. While your body should have less energy, exhaustions and all that, you improve and enhance your performance at that time. You make your body to do or work against all odds. So I experimented it. I used to have an app, that is, I lost that app now. So I have used to get all these physical graphs, speed, and my speed is increase. I was walking like 4.5 miles an hour, and so I used to end up on the high note. So that's when I convinced myself with this sadhana, this science which is being taught in Gita is absolutely perfect. So when so you slowly, gradually start practicing it, and when you have this understanding that if this person is talking nonsense to you, don't react. Don't own up to whatever this person is saying. Slowly, gradually, you start getting used to it. So when you disconnect your senses with your mind, nothing, whatever is happening in the world outside will affect you. Affect you, it's not that you do not register it. It's not that you don't see it. You see it, but you remain unmoved by the event, irrespective of the nature of the event. Whether it is the death or the birth, for you it becomes one and the same thing. इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि you become insensitive. No, you're not insensitive, but you're not causing upheaval in your state of mind. You're not kind of gone berserk if somebody's died. Well, everybody has to die. People die. Somebody will die today, somebody will die tomorrow. Some people have already died. Death is a nature of material life. Body का nature है. It goes through those 6 modifications. Janma, birth, growth, disease, and decay, and death. That is what was destined. So when something is destined, what are you crying about? So slowly, gradually, you start practicing and work against all these wrong script that we have written for our life. Slowly, gradually, when you start practicing it, you will begin to experience life differently, positively. Lot of factors that disturbed your mind and gave you stress and anxiety and whole lot, they will reduce substantially and eventually die their own death. So no matter what is happening in the world outside, you remain unaffected. While active, you're not passive, you're active, but you're not disturbing your peace of mind, which means that you're far more available to attend to the event, whatever that may be. You're much better in a position to help if you have to help in these events, whether it is the birth of a child, consoling the mother, doing whatever. You're not over, you remain balanced. You're not excited in joy, and you're not disturbed in so-called negative situation. You remain balanced. You have the ability to witness the event as it is occurring without getting involved into it. So you are far more stable in your state of mind, and you maintain that peace of mind. Why? You're not letting your mind get agitated by joy or, क्या बोलते हैं उसको? Excitement and suffering of the situation. So your mind remains at peace. So you enjoy peace at all the time. Mind remains peaceful. तो ये जो स्किल है, इसमें क्या रॉकेट साइंस है? इसमें कोई रॉकेट साइंस नहीं है.
इसी तरह से डिजीज को भी लेना चाहिए.
किसी को भी. It's a condition.
Yeah.
It's a condition
Any
of the
suffering.
body. That's a
Yeah.
decay or disease or growth or hampered growth. It's a body. Try to make best use of it. It's an instrument for you. Try to, whatever the condition your body is in, try to make best use of it. Try to keep it in fit condition. Do exercise, do yoga. Make sure your instruments are sharp and alert. Whether they are sensory organs, whether they're mind or intellect, it should be kept in decent condition, in control. You should be in control of them rather than being controlled by them. So just because we are saying you have to go beyond your Sharir Man Buddhi, it does not mean you have to neglect it. It means that you have to take good care of your instruments so that you can experience the world far more intelligently than we do right now. And when you are spending time and meditating upon yourself, you need to make sure that your body is flexible and healthy so that it does not distract your process of meditation. It does not take your mind away into aches and pains. So if body is supple, soft, क्या बोलते हैं उसको, लचीली को क्या बोलते हैं, flexible and healthy, it is less likely to disturb you in your meditation. So that is the objective of yogasana. जो हमारे योगासन कराए जाते हैं उसका मुख्य उद्देश्य ये है, to make sure that my body remains flexible and healthy. So when my body is flexible and healthy, I can afford to sit in a state of contemplation for hours on end. Why? Because my legs are not hurting, my back is not hurting. I can keep my back erect and sit on Padmasana for as long as I want. ये उसका पर्पस है. तो ये सब चीजें इंटरकनेक्टेड हैं और इन सब की एक अपनी स्पेसिफिक यूजफुलनेस है इन द प्रोसेस ऑफ सेल्फ रियलाइजेशन. बाकी तो सब कर ही रहे हैं, है ना. तो मैं इसको नोट कर लूं, otherwise I have to keep thinking every week, what did I do. आज है today's 9th. So whatever is left, I think we have read it, all of it, but we'll reread it, last couple of paragraphs, and then we'll move on to the verse 24. So if any thoughts, any question that you might have. तो इंडिया में सुना है वेदर बहुत अच्छा हो रहा है, बारिशें वारिशें हो रही हैं, यू आर एंजॉइंग कोल्ड वेदर आफ्टर ब्यूटीफुल
ह्यूमिड हो रहा है
समर
बहुत,
है.
एसी चल रहे हैं।
चल रहे होंगे डेफिनेटली, बिकॉज इट गेट्स रियली
वेरी
रियली
ह्यूमिड।
ह्यूमिड. हाँ. सो
तो
3-4
मुझे इस
people could
बात से
not
ये
come.
याद आया कि कुछ जो
जी.
ऐसे जो लोग बुजुर्ग हो जाते हैं वो ज्यादा ठीक से एक्सेप्ट कर पाते हैं डिजीज और डेथ को भी। मैंने अपनी फैमिली में देखा है, जैसे अभी रिसेंटली लास्ट वीक एक हमारी बहू के दादाजी की डेथ हुई, वो 90 के थे। बहुत जल्दी बीमारी कुछ हुई और फिर डिटोरिएट हो गई बॉडी। तो उनके बच्चे रो वो रहे थे, तो उनकी बीवी आके कहती है, वो भी खुद 85+ है, कहती है मुझसे रोना वोना एक्सपेक्ट नहीं करना, उनका जाना बना था, ही लिव दिस लाइफ। बच्चे भी चुप हो गए 5-10 मिनट में उनको लगा जी माँ ने नॉर्मलाइज कर दिया सब कुछ। तो फैमिली में दे
देखिए होता क्या है
एक्सेप्टेड।
कि ये जो हम बात करें ना सेल्फ रियलाइजेशन की, with life experiences people eventually realize to
या तो
certain
ये
degree.
समझ जाते हैं, या कोई बिटर भी हो जाते हैं कुछ लोग, जैसे
नहीं, सर्टेन
जिद भी
डिग्री
करते रहते
लोगों
हैं।
को, हाँ, जिनको समझ में आ जाती है, दे
हम्म,
बिकम काम एंड कलेक्टेड अबाउट इट, दे एक्सेप्ट इट
हम्म,
बिकॉज दे हैव एक्सेप्टेड कि दिस इज व्हाट इट इज, दिस इज द रियलिटी ऑफ लाइफ.
या हम्म,
If we are born, we have to die. So they are not crying or they are not suffering out of it. Those who cannot, they continue to suffer.
हम्म,
But idea ये जो हल्का सा जो ज्ञान मरने वाली शैया पे आता है, सोच के देखो अगर यही ज्ञान 16
पहले
साल
आ
की
जाए।
उम्र में आ गया होता, तो we would have lived a life of peace, isn't it? And would have become so productive, so successful, and would have achieved whatever you want to achieve in life. सो आइडिया यही है, इवेंचुअली तो आपको ज्ञान आ ही जाएगा जब कुछ नहीं बचेगा तो. लेकिन उस समय कुछ क्या करोगे, ज्ञान आ भी गया तो करोगे क्या ज्ञान का. Few hours, few days, few weeks, maybe few months that you may experience that peace. But think about it, if that peace of mind can be enjoyed all through life, how great and brilliant life would be. And that's the idea. तो इसीलिए हिंदुइज्म में ज्यादा मारा मारी नहीं है. वो कहते हैं कि if you want to continue to suffer and rot and get pickled in your own
एंड
juice
अनदर
of the
इंसिडेंट
misery.
आई रिमेम्बर व्हेन माय ग्रैंडमदर डाइड। तो मेरी जो ताई जी थी वो साईं बाबा की भक्त हैं, थी, वो भी चली गई अब। तो उन्होंने घर में, मैं यंग गर्ल थी बिल्कुल तब, उस समय इन माय 20s और समथिंग, तो आके उन्होंने ये स्टेटमेंट बोली थी, कोई नहीं रोएगा, वो चली गई है अपनी जिंदगी जी के, हम सेलिब्रेट करेंगे, फ्लावर्स लाओ, घर में खुशबू होनी चाहिए, हम फूल चढ़ाएंगे। मतलब जैसे यंग बच्चों को ऐसे बोल रही थी, बट शी हैड सो मच क्लैरिटी इन हर माइंड।
हाँ,
उन्होंने फिर इतनी
तो
इलनेस और डेथ देखी, वो भी आराम से ही
एग्जैक्टली.
गई फिर। माय ताई जी।
हाँ, तो वही मैं कह रहा हूँ कि ये अ, अक्सर
तो
लोगों
दैट
को
क्लैरिटी। या
जो थोड़ा सा, जिनका एनवायरनमेंट कंड्यूसिव हो जाता है, चाहे वो डायरेक्टली डायरेक्टली एसोसिएटेड है, सत्संग करते हैं, सत्संग से मतलब
हाँ
नॉट
जी।
नेसेसरी बीटिंग द ड्रम,
यस
सत्संग
यस।
मतलब हैविंग द गुड कंपनी,
नॉलेज या।
गोइंग टू
वो
नाइस
ये स्टेटमेंट
प्लेसेस।
बोलती थी, शरीर छोड़ा है अब वो दूसरे शरीर में चली गई, हम लोग कहते थे क्या बोल रही है ये।
क्या बोल रही हैं,
तो कुछ लोग
है
कहते
ना?
थे ये बौखला गई है, साईं
तो
बाबा के जाती है, पता नहीं क्या बोल
जो, हाँ, जो उस तरह के एनवायरनमेंट में रहते हैं, उनको धीरे धीरे करके अंततः थोड़ा बहुत रियलाइजेशन हो जाता है।
रही।
अगर रियलाइजेशन ना भी हो तो डिस्क्रिमिनेशन तो हो ही जाता है,
नॉलेज तो होती है, हाँ जी,
थोड़ा बहुत,
डिस्क्रिमिनेशन।
है ना? तो वो फिर उनके व्यवहार के ऊपर इफेक्ट करती है। So
या।
then they talk things like that, and everybody wonders कि she's gone some, there's some crazy woman. What is she
या।
talking about? Because this is not normal thinking. But normal is everybody must cry and beat their chest when somebody dies. और लोग इसलिए नहीं मर रहे रोते कि वो बंदा चला गया, वो ये इसलिए रोते हैं कि मेरा क्या होगा। इट्स ए सेल्फिश थिंग,
यस।
दैट्स द रियलिटी। आप किसी को देख लेना कि हूं सर मेरा क्यों होगा, मैं किद्दां करूंगी, है ना, बच्चे नु किद्दां पालूंगी। और तू मर गया, वो अगला बंदा मर गया, उसके बारे में तो कुछ सोच। तो उसके बारे में नहीं सोचे जो मर गया। मेरा क्या होगा, वो तो गया, वो तो गया, उसको फूकना ही है कल जाके। मेरा क्या होगा, मेरी टेंशन ये है, इसलिए मैं रो रही हूँ, मैं इसलिए नहीं रो रहा कि मतलब बंदा चला गया। आई एम नॉट सैड अबाउट दैट, आई एम सैड अबाउट लाइफ, दैट आई एम फेसिंग ए मिजरेबल लाइफ। I've already seen that miserable life in front of me, and that's what making me cry. I'm frightened, fearful of the prospect, क्योंकि मैंने जीवन में कुछ सीखा नहीं। I remain dependent all my life. Now everything has fall on my shoulders. I have to do everything. I have to carry the entire family with myself, and it is a frightening prospect. That is what I'm crying about. या अटैचमेंट के कारण रोते हैं, और अटैचमेंट भी सेल्फ सेल्फिशनेस ही होती है, अटैचमेंट भी, है ना? तो कि अब आई डोंट नो हाउ टू सर्वाइव विदाउट, बट विच इज वन द सेम थिंग, है ना? तो हो जाता है, लेकिन
एक और
आइडिया यही
क्वेश्चन
होता है कि,
पूछना था।
जी
ये
पूछिए।
108 बार हमारी माला में क्यों होते हैं बीड्स, इसका कुछ सिग्निफिकेंस?
चैट जी, इस तरह के क्वेश्चन के लिए चैट जीपीटी क्या करो।
वो मैंने देखा था, वो तो फिर वो ही बता रहे थे सन एंड अर्थ
क्या?
का डिस्टेंस जो एस्ट्रोनॉमी और एस्ट्रोलॉजी में
देखिए,
होता है।
मेरे पास इसका वो है कि एक मिनट में करके बताता हूँ।
अगर आपको कहीं दिखे तो प्लीज शेयर कीजिएगा, मैं सिर्फ थोड़ा और जानना चाह, मुझे तो यही सब चीजें मिली कि वो इतना ही बोले थे, हिंदुइज्म में ऑस्पिशियस है, बुद्धिज्म में है, जैनिज्म में है, हर रिलीजन में बस बता रहे थे कि या 108 शिव जी के अवतार या रूप, या 108 मतलब ऑल दोस काइंड ऑफ थिंग। फिर एस्ट्रोनॉमी में बता रहे थे कि सन और अर्थ का डिस्टेंस कुछ ऐसे करके फिर मल्टीप्लाई करके कम्स टू 108।
110 इसकी एक्सप्लेनेशन हैं। तो 108 का ये होता है, जो इसका एक एक्सप्लेनेशन जो थोड़ा सा लॉजिकल मुझको लग रहा है, बिकॉज आई एम मैथमेटिशियन इन माय टेम्परामेंट। It says 108 is a harshed number, meaning it is divisible by the sum of its digits. 108 को अगर 9 से करो तो ये डिवाइड हो
डिविजिबल
जाता है
बाय 9।
ज्योमेट्री में। तो 108 का मतलब 12, 12 का मतलब 12 महीने। तो भाई 108 बार करते हो तो इट इज बेसिकली रिप्रेजेंटिंग नोशनली इन योर माइंड दैट यू आर डन फॉर द होल ईयर 108, है ना? तो इस
वैसे
तरह
ये
के
भी
बहुत
हमने
सारे।
सुना ही हुआ
हाँ
है,
जी।
एस्ट्रोनॉमी में कहते हैं जो सन अर्थ और मून का अप्रोक्सीमेटली 108 टाइम्स देयर रिस्पेक्टिव डायमीटर्स। उस जमाने में जब टेलीस्कोप और वो सब भी नहीं होते थे तब भी हमारे
और उसकी
एस्ट्रोनॉमर्स कहते
एक
थे।
उससे जो इन्फिनिटी है ना, उससे भी है, इज इन्वर्टेड इन्फिनिटी। तो इट्स ए सिंबॉलिक ऑफ ब्रह्म विच हैज नो स्टार्टिंग नो एंड। सो
ओ।
इस काइंड ऑफ सिंबल ऑफ इन्फिनिटी, अगर आप देखो तो। लेकिन वो तो इंग्लिश वाला है, तो हमारे वालों ने तो इंग्लिश में नहीं किया होगा ना, हमारे वालों
हम्म।
की तो आर्ट बिल्कुल डिफरेंट होती है। तो ये दिस इज ओनली ए यूरोपियन एक्सप्लेनेशन, which does not go with the, so there are various, अगर आप गूगल करोगे या सॉरी चैट जीपीटी करोगे तो आपको स्पिरिचुअल, लॉजिकल, साइंटिफिक,
हाँ वही देख
डिफरेंट
रही हूँ।
रिलीजन के पर्सपेक्टिव से आपको मिल जाएगा उसमें
मैंने कहा
कि
अगर
व्हाट
कहीं
इज।
किसी हमारे वेदांत में कहीं किसी किताब में या कुछ होगा।
बहुत सारे कहते हैं 108 किसके नाम होते हैं, शिव जी के नाम होते हैं, पता नहीं क्या क्या नाम होते हैं, बट मेरा जो मानना है वो ये है कि जब आप किसी बात को 108 बार चैंट करते हो तो यू क्रिएट ए मेमोरी। आपकी मेमोरी उसको 21 से भी, 21 का भी वही है, 21 21 21 करते करते हो। सो इफ यू डू, आई थिंक ऐसे होता है कुछ।
हाँ 21 टाइम्स का भी सिग्निफिकेंस है।
हाँ 21 टाइम्स का भी वही सिग्निफिकेंस है, तो आप करते तो मेमोराइज हो जाता, तो अगर सिंगल टाइम पे करो। और ऐसे ही 108 माला का भी होता है, तो जो हमारी मालाएं होती हैं, जाप वाली माला, उसमें 108 मन के होते हैं। मन के, इसका मतलब यू आर मेमोराइजिंग सो मेनी टाइम, इफ यू रिपीट समथिंग 110 टाइम्स इट बिकम्स योर मेमोरी, यू
हम्म,
रिटेन इट इन योर माइंड। तो मेरे ख्याल से वो एक्सप्लेनेशन मेरे को ज्यादा प्लॉसिबल लग रही है बजाय एनी अदर आर्ग्यूमेंट्स दैट पीपल प्रेजेंट। अभी जो 108 वाला भी बोला है कि इस डिवाइसिबल, ये मैथमेटिकल कैलकुलेशन है, ठीक है वो है, लेकिन उसका इससे कोई लेना देना नहीं। लेकिन ये जो मन के वाली जो बात है ना, 108 मन के, मन के, तो 108 बार जब किसी चीज को आप रिसाइड करते हो तो यू क्रिएट ए मेमोरी, इट बिकम्स योर्स। जैसे हम निधि ध्यास कहते हैं ना, यू प्रैक्टिस समथिंग फॉर दैट मेनी डेज, तो यू इट बिकम्स योर्स, यू ओन इट। तो दैट इज फार मोर practical explanation of 108 than any other definition. देखो वैसे जो है ना, ये सब रिचुअलिस्टिक चीजों की कैलकुलेशंस या आर्ग्यूमेंट्स या जस्टिफिकेशन ज्यादा या एक्सप्लेनेशन इतने मालूम मालूम होते नहीं है। लेकिन ये कि जैसे आप पूछोगे तो मैं भी पता कर लूंगा कि क्या होता है भाई। लेकिन वो घूम फिर के आता यहीं पे है, क्योंकि ये जो रिचुअलिस्टिक परफॉर्मेंसेस हैं, दे आर डायरेक्टली लिंक्ड विद ट्रेनिंग ऑफ माइंड। इनका सारा का काम ट्रेनिंग ऑफ माइंड है। तो जैसे मैंने वो जो स्टोरी बताई थी ना आपको, द स्टोरी ऑफ दैट ब्लाइंड फेलो, द ब्लाइंड गोल्ड माइनर।
और
तो उसमें एक आता है कि व्हेन ही लिव्ड इन ए बैगिंग एनवायरनमेंट, his mind did not change, but when his environment was altered, so the new environment, fresh environment supported the
कुछ
recovery
सोचने
of
का
his
लगा।
memory,
हम्म,
है ना। तो
सोचने
ये जो
सुनने का लगा।
ये जो न्यू एनवायरनमेंट होता है, तो जितनी भी हमारी बहिरंग साधनाएं होती हैं, it helps the mind to remain confined in the thought of God. Rather than thinking about millions of unnecessary things, you bring your mind into the confinement of religious thoughts. तो आपका माइंड जो है पूजा पाठ, भगवान, ये वो फास्टिंग, ये करना, सेलिब्रेट करना, फेस्टिवल मनाना, ये सब करना, दिस आर ऑल रिलीजियस एक्टिविटीज। सो योर माइंड, percentage of your mind thinking about God or godly things is much higher than thinking unnecessary negative stuff. So you provide that confinement, a new environment for your mind to become more responsive to these thoughts and ideas. So it begins to transform its nature when you do बहिरंग साधना। तो इसलिए बहिरंग साधना की बहुत ज्यादा रेलेवेंस है when somebody is trying to train their mind।
या
ठीक है जी। तो चलिए
एक और मेरे
प्रार्थना
को
कर।
रियलाइजेशन हुआ था सर। वो जो
जी
हमारे
बोलिए बोलिए।
4 स्टेजेस ऑफ लाइफ है, मैं उस दिन ऋतु के साथ शेयर कर रही थी। फ्रॉम 0 to 25 वी आर इन बॉडी मोड। फ्रॉम 25 to 50 वी आर ऑन माइंड मोड। फ्रॉम 50 to 75 इंटेलेक्ट, इंटेलिजेंस, सेल्फ स्टडी। एंड
हम्म।
देन फ्रॉम 75 to 100 स्पिरिट,
हाँ,
स्पिरिचुअल।
स्पिरिचुअल तुरिया, तुरिया अवस्था।
और मतलब हमारे
तो
रिलीजन में।
हमारे यहाँ बहुत सारी ऐसी चीजें हैं जो आइदर दे आर इन क्वाड्रेंट
हम्म,
और दे आर इन ट्रिपल।
हम्म,
बहुत सारी ट्रिपल चीजें हैं, बहुत सारी क्वाड्रेंट चीजें हैं।
yeah,
और दे आर वेरी गुड, दे आर वेरी नाइस। अब इसी को आप तीनों, चारों अवस्थाओं, कॉन्शियस अवस्थाओं में भी नाप सकते हैं। ये कॉन्शियस अवस्था,
waking।
हाँ, स्वप्न अवस्था, सुषुप्त, सॉरी हाँ, सुषुप्त अवस्था
मुझे आपसे
और तुरिया
तुरिया
अवस्था।
समझना था, एक बार कभी हम
तुरिया
डिस्कस
का मतलब
करेंगे।
होता है फोर्थ।
हाँ। ओ अच्छा।
जो वर्ड तुरिया है,
हाँ।
ये जो चतुर्थ होता है, हिंदी में, संस्कृत में शब्द होता है चतुर्थ। चतुर्थ का मतलब होता है फोर, तुरिया का मतलब होता है फोर्थ। चतुर्थ का मतलब फोर, तुरिया इसकी एक फॉर्म है, थर्ड या फोर्थ विभक्ति है। संस्कृत में विभक्ति होती है ना, 7 विभक्ति होती है। टोटल कितनी होती है? 7 की 21, 21, एक वर्ड के 21 फॉर्म्स होते हैं। तो ये जो है एक वचन फोर्थ, फोर्थ चौथी विभक्ति है तुरिया, उसका मतलब होता है फोर्थ। जो तुरिया जो वर्ड है इसका मतलब होता है फोर्थ स्टेज। लेकिन हाँ, नेक्स्ट टाइम क्वेश्चन रेज करना, ऑन फ्राइडे वी विल हैव सम डिस्कशन ऑन इट। ठीक है ना? चलिए प्रार्थना कर लेते हैं, काफी टाइम हो गया। ओके। ओम कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय हरये परमात्मने प्रणतक्लेशनाशाय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। चलिए जी, थैंक यू वेरी मच। आई सी यू ऑन फ्राइडे।
थैंक यू।
थैंक यू रितु, थैंक यू प्रीति,
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू सो
थैंक यू।
मच।